So my mom gave me a bit of advice. She said, don't make any more drunken videos. So here I am. It takes forever to put that kid to bed. Dear God, what do you expect? I want to talk to everybody today about abuse and how it works. Why it's so devious, insidious, and just you really don't know. If you think you know, trust me, you don't know. I mean, hell, I've been abused significantly, and I still don't know. It starts with, and this is very important, it starts with the societies or our cultural or family ideas of what is perceived as good attributes versus bad attributes. That's where it starts. Because those are, we can play off of them. We can play off of people's perception of what they think is a good behavior or a bad behavior. You know what I mean? Or not even a behavior. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing with abuse. It intersects when you go into racism, sexism. How do people in general perceive somebody based on things they have no control over? Their color, their sex, their intellect. And then there's also the compounding issue of people need to be right. They always want to be right. You're not always right. In fact, 99% of the time we're wrong. I'll be honest. We're wrong. Or we're partially right. It's the truth. I suppose we come to terms to it, with it at some point. You know what I mean? We realize something we did wasn't entirely perfect, and we change it. And we change the way we do it. But when it comes to abuse, it's truly a power dynamic. With something like racism, it's clear and cut. Somebody who is white truly and genuinely believes that they hold superior presence simply because they're white versus a black person. And that seems very easy, but that gets very difficult when you start looking at abuse in a more detailed level. It's not just man versus woman. It's balances of power in general. Power is something that, there's a balance of it. There's a shared camaraderie. If you're going to be in respectful relationships, be that society or individually, power has to have a balance where you understand that what you get is what you give. You give what you want. Respect is not a one-way street. You can't, twist a knife and get what you want. That's not how it works. You can't degrade somebody's character to be right. That doesn't work like that. It's more complicated than that. I mean, even if somebody has a bad character, if you withhold something from them, you're just as much of an ass. Withholding anything from anybody, utilizing your position, at least, unless you have good reason to do so, utilizing your position to any degree is always a problem. But the bigger problem is when you've allowed yourself to believe that your character is so good that it's okay to do those kind of things. When it's okay to say, I don't need to respect what their opinions, their feelings, or their anything is, because my character is better than their character. I think Martin Luther King talked about character very specifically, and it's for that reason. It's the very groundwork of rights. You know what? You may think that if you've abused somebody and you've convinced, 5 people that, well, I did it and it's okay because this person's like this. No, that's not how abuse works. That's not how it works. If you think something somebody did is bad, you disassociate yourself with them. That's your responsibility as a respectful adult who does what they need to do. You disassociate. It doesn't matter what it causes you. It doesn't matter how it harms you in any way. You do it. There's no excuse. Excusing your behavior based on somebody else's isn't any different than saying, well, she's just a woman. They're Negro. Get it together. Hold each other responsible, not just for your perception of character, but your own ability to have good character. If you have to employ devious things to make your point, there's a ton of people who still think people are bad simply because they're of color. You're not right. You're just perceiving you're right. Your legacy is as dead as anybody else who used abuse to live their lives. Done.